If the resurrection of Jesus really happened, well, it changes everything. And if it didn't, Christianity falls apart. So the question isn't whether the story is inspiring, it's whether it's true. One of the first objections skeptics raise is about the tomb. The claim's pretty simple. Crucifixion victims didn't get proper burials. They were criminals. Their bodies were usually dumped into common mass graves. So if Jesus was crucified, they would say there's no way he ended up in a tomb, and without a tomb, the resurrection story collapses. At first glance, that sounds reasonable. But history actually complicates that assumption. Jesus was betrayed by one of his own. He was arrested. He was abandoned by his followers. He was interrogated by religious and political leaders. He was beaten, mocked, and then crucified. Even as he hung on the cross, the crowd taunted him. You saved others. Save yourself. And yet Luke records Jesus responding not with anger, but with mercy. He said, Father, forgive them. They do not know what they're doing. Now, here's where archaeology matters. In 1968, excavations in Jerusalem uncovered several ancient Jewish tombs containing ossuaries. These are stone boxes used to hold bones after burial. One ossuary was marked with the name Yohanan, a common first century name that we translate John. Inside of it was a heel bone, and that heel bone had an iron nail still driven through it. In other words, this man had been crucified. When his body was taken down, clearly the nail couldn't be removed, so he was buried with it still in place. This discovery is the earliest physical evidence we have of Roman crucifixion, but more importantly, it shows something critics often miss. In some cases, crucified individuals were given proper family burials in tombs, which means the burial of Jesus isn't historically implausible. It's actually consistent with what we now know. Mark tells us that Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of the council, went boldly to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate confirmed that Jesus was dead. He released the body to Joseph. Joseph wrapped Jesus in linen, placed him in a rock-cut tomb, sealing it with a stone. So the resurrection story doesn't begin with a legend or wishful thinking. It begins with real people, real places, and practices we can verify. And that leaves us with a better question than, is this story comforting? It's this: if Jesus truly died and was properly buried, what explanations are actually left on the table for what happened next? And what does that mean for us? We'll explore more in the next episode of Evidence for Easter.